Hi everyone, good morning. I'm Shanda Reed and I am here to show you there's a couple of things whenever anybody meets me. A lot of people ask me about my dreadlocks. And this set of dreadlocks I've had for 5 years, 5.5 years now. I had a set before for 4 years and people often want to know how I got started. There's a couple of tips that I have that I share with everybody. One of them is whenever you have an idea like a desire to have dreadlocks, you should research it a lot. It's not a temporary hairstyle. It's not something you just do on a whim. I always tell people that if you're going to have dreadlocks, you should make it a 5-year goal. You need to invest time in it and really have a strong desire in your heart, because the first year of dreadlocks is a real growing process. You're learning a lot about who you are internally, and you're learning a lot about what your worth is and your values are, and they really become a part of who you are. It's like your hair is this message that relates your personality and your life experience and your history and your happiness and your loss, and you carry that with you when you keep your locks. You keep all your hair on, you don't cut it, you grow them long. The big thing is people, a lot of times younger kids or teenagers, will come up to me and assume that getting dreadlocks is as easy as stopping combing their hair. Or people will assume that they're not supposed to wash their hair anymore, which I cannot stress enough how important it is to wash your hair when you have dreadlocks. I mean, it is imperative. If you don't, you won't have them very long. You'll have to cut them off and you'll grow like one big matted kind of, oh, I don't know, like a pillow or something, you know, like one big matted piece of hair. But there are different kinds of dreadlocks, and there's this great book. It's called Dreads, and just a second, I'll grab it so I can show you. Okay, I'm back. This book is amazing. Anybody who's interested in dreadlocks should be getting this book. It's simply called Dreads, and it is, the author is Francesco Mastaglia and Alphonse Pajano, it looks like, introduced by Alice Walker. And the really cool thing about this book, it's beautiful. The whole thing is full of images of people with dreadlocks from all over the world, all different kinds, and the different stories that they have having their dreadlocks. It's gorgeous. One of the things that I looked for is people who had similar hair types with me, similar hairstyles as I have. Dreadlocks go through different kind of processes. In the beginning, they will be really kind of fluffy and thick, and then they will get tighter as they lock. It takes about a year to lock them. Anyways, this book is gorgeous. My favorite book. If you're considering dreadlocks, get this book or check it out from your local library, Dreads. The other thing that I tell people, there are so many products everywhere for dreadlocks. My very favorite products that I use are the Dreadhead HQ. So Dread Headquarters, and they have a website. Their website is dreadheadhq.com, and this is their wax that they use. And this wax is the only wax that I use on my dreads. I've used so many different products and nothing else works like this. But when I do it, so I just relocked my tips. So when you grow out dreadlocks, you start the first day by sectioning all of your hair, and then you back comb each of the sections. They also have a great back combing comb from dreadheadquarters.com. You back comb your hair to the roots, and then you spin it in your hands and you twist it, okay? So as your hair grows out, the roots are loose and you have to retighten your roots all the time. So this video was actually to show you the pin curls that I did. And you don't even need any rubber bands to hold them in or anything, but I haven't taken them out yet, so I don't even know if they worked. I just put them in last night late. It may take an extra day, but this is a way to curl your dreadlocks. Oh, it did work. It's kind of curly. Okay, so otherwise my dreadlocks are straight. So I want you to see though, right at my roots, which may be hard with this, they're loose at the roots, and then what I do, and it's tight right now because I just did these last night, and maybe if I put my hand behind, you can see all the way to the head, okay? Last night I twisted my roots because they were really loose, and I put on this wax. This is what it looks like inside, and I just take a fingertip, and you may not even be able to see how much I have on there. It's literally like, let's see if it'll do that. It's literally like the same amount that I would use for chapstick. So little. And then I'll put that on the tip, and I'm not going to put any more because I just put it on yesterday. I only do that about once a month. I only wax them. And I'll put it from the tip and slide it out, and I'll really rub it in here. And then I'll grab my comb, and people think you can't back comb dreadlocks, but you can totally back them, and that's the way you're going to keep your roots tight. There's lots of different methods, by the way. My way is not the only way. This is just what I've developed after about 10 years of having dreadlocks. I back comb all the way, and then respin it, back comb some more, respin it. And then what I did was I just rolled them into these pin curls. And the way you do that is you just, as you're spinning, you'll see that it will start to kind of curl on itself, and then you wrap it around and keep spinning, and you're just creating like this little round curl. Like you've probably, I mean, before curlers came, this is the way they did it. And then I'll actually take the end and stick it through like that. And then, so I normally do it really tight. I'm just doing it kind of loose so that you guys can see. But I would wrap it a lot longer so that it would be tighter. I would spin it tighter, and then it will sit there. And then at nighttime, last night, I had a silk scarf on my head, which I don't see my silk scarf here right now. Just one sec. Okay, while I let my hair dry, or if I have to go somewhere and I don't want everybody to see me with pin curls on the top of my head, which some of you may not mind. It's kind of a cute style if you're like, oh, I don't know, if you're just trying to look kind of free and fun and fun. Okay, so anyways, I went to an African import store and got silk scarves. They're not super long. I'm 5'6", and it's probably, you know, about the same as my height or something. It's pretty close. And it's only about 2 feet wide, not really wide either. Most of the scarves that I found from tutorials that I saw are massive and hard to handle. These are very thin silk scarves from an African import store, and they're only like $5 when you go buy them there, which is so much cheaper than anything else. So the big thing is they taught me how to do these. So I put it halfway through, right? And make sure it's covering the whole hair. And you can do this even if like your hair is in a bun on top of your head or something. And then you bring it together at the front, and you're gonna crisscross them and go back. So I pull it tight, switch hands, and then you're gonna go back on it. And then you can, so if you spin them, they look nicer then. And you know, if I'm dressing up or something, I have lots of different colors and I tuck it in different, and then you just tie it in the back, right back here. So this is a good way to kind of keep it fancy and to keep it out of the way and to let it dry. And I sleep on my side anyway, so having a bow in the back of my head does not make it messy or anything like that. And I have some really great colors. This is my sleeping one. And you can wear whatever kind of scarf you want and just tuck in all the edges. So that's how I take care of it whenever I need to protect my locks. And then you can take it off super easy. So as far as washing, I wash them, I wash them with shampoo about once a week, and I do use my Dread Headquarter shampoo probably every other time. Okay, so this is my Dread Headquarter shampoo. Other times I don't use conditioner for the first year, but after that I do because it softens them up. This shampoo specializes in pulling out all the unnatural things that are in your hair that you don't need in your hair, that you don't want to have. So again, I don't want this video to be very long because I just wanted to show you some things you can do with dreadlocks, how to maintain them. You can send me questions if you like. I'm going to pull the curls out now so you can kind of get an idea. This set is 5 years old. Again, like I said, oh, don't be afraid when you get dreadlocks. you have to keep them separated. And that's kind of funny because when you first get them, you're afraid, but you kind of have to rip the hair apart to keep them separated. So this video was all about the pin curls, so I am going to take the curls out for you really quick and let you see. And my hair is much longer when it's not curled. But something you need to know is I started this set 5 years ago, and my hair was down to here when I started it. And a lot of people don't know when you get dreadlocks, your hair shrinks because it's locking and tangling against itself. Instead of one straight piece of hair, it's coming together like this. And so one strand gets this way. It shrinks for me the 2 times that I did my sets. It got about half the length that it was before it started to grow long again. And so now my locks, and the ones that are in back are longer, obviously, but these ones in the front are shorter. And I'm going to pause it for a second while I take out the rest so I can just show you kind of the finished product so you can see what they look like when they're all done. All right, talk to you in 1 sec. Okay, so I'm back. I'm not done taking them out, but I wanted to show you actually that this side is much curlier. And actually the reason why that is because, and you can see how curly these curls are. They're wonderful. The reason is because I did this side first, and it was done for a couple of hours before I actually did this side. So I forgot to mention that I would blow dry them normally before I undo them, and I would test them. So I am going to undo them all right now and show you anyways what it looks like. And I did blow dry this a little bit before I do the rest, but I wanted to show you that it can be very curly or it can be a little bit wavy, and that your hair is not always consistent. So now I'll take them out and show you in a second. Okay, we're about halfway done. Now undoing this side over here. And I just wanted to really tell you, you know, something that you learn with dreadlocks is it's not like a perfect science. It's not like you're going to, and also wanted to show you kind of the difference and the lengths, you know, that every lock has its own personality. And when you start dreadlocks, you have this idea that they're going to look a certain way or be a certain way. And really part of the journey of having dreadlocks is realizing that you don't have control and that it's not going to look exactly like you want it to look. And that you're going to have to learn a lot. I wanted people in the beginning to tell me everything. I was like, tell me how to do this. Show me how to do this. And you have to figure a lot of it out because your hair is going to be different than everybody else's hair. Your locks will be different than other people's locks. But get around people who have locks, or look on YouTube, or look on the Dread Headquarters website, and you will be able to find enough information to keep you going with your locks. And when you get discouraged, if you really believe in it and you really want to have them, you have to have a really strong desire to keep them going, because it's a lot of work, especially the first year is a lot of work. You have to really keep them separated, really twist them regularly. After that first year is done though, you don't have to, like I said, right now, I only put wax on them about once a month or once every month and a half. I do not wax them a lot anymore. And I wanted you to know that it's a time-consuming thing. And it takes a lot of effort with your arms. You can pay people to do your dreadlocks. There's a great stylist here in the Phoenix area. He's amazing. Actually, I've had a few different people work with me. My last gentleman was a stylist at Hair Pollution, and he did crochet hooking for me because my roots were also separated. And I actually originally had many more dreadlocks than this, but some of them were too thin and tiny, and they weren't thriving, they weren't locking well at the top. So what he did for me was he helped me to combine them using a crochet hook. He would take two small dreads that were close to each other at the top and hook them together. And so you can have people work on them. You can have your friends, you can have your family, you can teach them how to help you with it. I have a 7-year-old daughter that I've been trying to teach how to get interested in helping me with my locks. But she has this gorgeous straight blonde hair, and she kind of isn't really sure what she thinks about dreadlocks yet because I'm the only person that she knows with them. So there's not a lot of people around here. I mean, there probably are a lot of people in Phoenix with dreadlocks, just none in our neighborhood or none that live close to us that we have met. So it's kind of strange for her mommy to be different than other mommies out there. But she, like me, has never wanted to comb her hair. She hates to brush her hair. Her hair is super tangly, and it's always a constant fight. And in fact, what I tell her is, if you don't brush your hair, then we're going to help you make really pretty locks with your hair so your hair will look like mommy's. And so she has to decide, do I want locks or do I want to brush my hair? But she's so beautiful, and I think that one of the things you realize too with locks is that every single one of us, and you realize this throughout life, every single one of us has our own beauty in life. And your beauty is your own beauty, and you have to find that beauty. And that beauty is not just based on what you're wearing, but it's based on the inside. And my first year that I had locks, I went through this growing phase because my hair was so different than I'd ever had it. And I'd always had really long, beautiful, straight hair. And I went through this phase where I was unsure of myself. And while I was unsure of myself, people would kind of judge me and be afraid of me with my dreadlocks. And I think that that had more to do with my fear about how I looked than to do with how I looked. And so because now that I have dreadlocks and I'm much more secure and independent and I know who I am, I don't have problems with being judged so much anymore. But my first year, people would think that I was dirty, or people would think that I was going to steal, that I was a thief or something, or that I was a gypsy, that I didn't have a home, you know, and I was a professional businesswoman at the time. I had a very unique kind of work that I did. I worked with teenagers in wilderness schools, and so I backpacked for a living, but I taught other people how to survive in the wilderness and how to help young people gain a sense of self-worth and self-esteem. But my first year of having locks, I was afraid that I wouldn't look pretty enough or something, and I was afraid because I couldn't control it. And what I ultimately found in the end was that not being able to control it gave me this real sense of freedom and sense of it's okay anyways. And when I got married years later, 4 years later, I had these very long locks. We curled them for the wedding, and they were beautiful, and I loved them. So here, I think I have all of them out now. That is what it looks like when you do pin curls for dreadlocks. And then one of the other really cool things about dreadlocks is you don't really have to use barrettes or anything to tie them up. You can use your own hair. So I often will just put the top half of my hair up by tying a little knot in two of my locks. And then you can leave like pieces out if you want, or tuck them in. You can wear your hair up high. But those are some curly locks. That's what they look like. I hope that you have a fabulous day. I hope I've answered some of your questions that you have about your locks. And the other thing is, make sure that you're happy with you. Make sure that you love you and that you love others for who they are. And dreadlocks are a really fascinating, exciting, fun journey. And I hope that you have the best experience that you can have with them. I'm Shanda Reeb. Have a great day.